My name is John Pasfield, and the title of this reading will be John and the Universan, Video 8, A Visit to Machu Picchu, Part 1. So here's my book, John and the Universan, Nothing is Known. So two figures inside a beat-up old spaceship, perhaps two spacemen, perhaps two Earthlings, perhaps one spaceman and one Earthling. Here's an explanation of that diagram. On the way to visit Stonehenge, John wonders whether his English ancestors might have been involved in the building of that mysterious megalith. Suddenly, he finds himself being held prisoner in a spaceship by an alien who tells John that despite government secrecy on his home planet, he has heard rumors that over many centuries his own ancestors have taken part in a series of major building projects here on Earth. Together, John and the alien embark on a tour of ancient sites, including Stonehenge, in search of their common ancestral roots. So, I'm about to read the first half of the visit of John and the Universan to the ancient earthly megalith of Machu Picchu. At the end of the section, which I'm going to read today, the tour guide will tell our two visiting tourists, John and the Universan, and everyone else on the tour, that you are an Inca if you think you are an Inca. As I read this passage, we can ask ourselves the implications of tour guide's words. So what does it mean? You are an Inca if you think you're an Inca. Let's go to chapter 5 then, page 31, and have a look at what the tour guide is saying. Here we are. Whoops, I just lost it again. Okay, got it. We shuffle along the aisle, the Universan and I. Good morning, everyone, says our Machu Picchu guide as we take our seats. How did it feel to arise at 5:50 a.m. Peruvian time? Surely that wonderful breakfast at the best hotel in Cuzco helped you to shake yourself gently and deliciously awake. Surely you'll all agree on the comforts of this wonderful, modern, luxurious panoramic window train. It's not easy being a human, the Universan said to me as the spaceship entered Peruvian airspace. The pronounced limp, shin splints, I'm certain, from the Great Wall of China is not apparent, it seems, to anyone but me. We are pulling out of the train station at Alante Tambo. I'm sure you enjoyed your early morning ride through the town, and on our way to Aguas Calientes, the Machu Picchu Pueblo, with wonderful views of crops and cattle, mountains and snow-capped peaks as we make our way. Perhaps a descendant of an Inca will wave to us from a field. The most obvious trait of you humans, John, the Universan explains to me as we ride along the train to Machu Picchu, is that your elites built magnificent edifices to honor themselves. Even when they invent a religion whose main trait is your word humility, John, it isn't very long before they build a palace for the humans to worship in. They call them cathedrals, temples, sanctums, and pretend that they are the dwelling place of the god who at first, they said, was at home in the sky. And then here's the second section of the trip to Machu Picchu. Sorry to break in on you so abruptly, says our Machu Picchu guide as he holds the microphone. I'm sure you are dreaming of being an Inca as you ride along in our Vista Dome. The padded armchairs and the folding tables are a wonderful feature, I'm sure you'll agree. Excuse me. It's a unique mode of travel as an approach to the citadel. Surely the Incas would love to ride with us today. With windows on walls and ceiling, it's almost as if we're sitting outside. The return trip will be even more spectacular as the sun will have moved through the sky. A fashion show will enliven our return to our hotel with garments made of alpaca by local artisans, available for purchase if you desire. Machu Picchu's in the mountains. I'll have to explain to the Universan what happens to a human when he slips and falls from a great height. I assume he's mortal in any guise. So the Universan on his home planet looks very different than he looks here on Earth. But when he's near an Earthling, he can look like an Earthling, and he can understand the Earthling language and even speak it. Speak it with an accent, I guess, should say. But the reason I broke into your reveries is to announce what is happening now. If you will proceed to the car with the balcony, you can enjoy a music and dance show as authentic to Inca entertainment as our historians and archaeologists have been able to tell. So, when the elites of my planet and the elites of yours came together, John, they had a shared agenda to their delight, which was ready-made. Your elites had plans for gigantic projects, monoliths or megaliths in your terms, John, terms the meaning of which you obviously don't know very well, but had not the means of building them at all. Their technology had not been developed, and they didn't have the population or maybe control of the population, which would allow them to put hundreds, thousands of their peoples to work. The elites from my planet had a home of depleted resources, a means of transporting people through space, and a ready-made population that probably you, and I too, John, would refer to as slaves. The deal was made in what your elites would have called heaven, John, in answer to their prayers, but it was a business deal that was made in outer space. Slave labor for precious resources. That's what it was. Once we arrive at the Aguas Calientes train station, says our Machu Picchu guide, another one of our guides will welcome us with an Inca greeting and promptly take us to the bus station, from whence we will travel for 30 minutes until we reach the sanctuary of Machu Picchu. You will not be disappointed as you embrace the ambience of this ancient edifice. You will be an Inca with a camera, as we are guided through the streets and told the secrets of the history and the architecture of Machu Picchu, this truly spectacular, stunning, magical place. Remember, you are an Inca if you think you are an Inca. Every tourist who comes here discovers his Inca soul. Well, that's the first part of the trip to Machu Picchu. Now, the two segments of part one of the tour of Machu Picchu take place on the train, which is taking John and the Universan to the site. The tour guide tells John and the Universan and everyone else on the train the following information about the tour. So here I'm repeating what the tour guide says. That they are staying at the best hotel in the city of Cuzco, that they've been served a wonderful breakfast, that the train is comfortable, modern, luxurious, and has panoramic windows, that they will look down at crops and cattle as the train moves towards the site in the mountains, that perhaps a descendant of an Inca will wave from a field, that they're sitting in padded armchairs, that they're protected from the weather outside, that they were given a fashion show by local artisans. The tour guide suggests to them, as they ride along in luxury, looking down on the fields that might contain a descendant of an Inca, that they can imagine for themselves what it would be like to be an Inca, that every tourist here discovers his Inca soul. So, suppose we consider for ourselves the validity of the tour guide's statement. Would you say, A, that the tour guide's claim that you're an Inca if you think you're an Inca is ridiculously impossible for modern tourists who are on the way to visit Machu Picchu on a luxury train? Or would you say, B, that the tour guide's claim that you're an Inca if you think you're an Inca is possible, despite the fact that the modern tourists are on the way to visit Machu Picchu on a luxury train? So how far apart are the Incas and the modern tourists? How close together are the Incas and the modern tourists? Lastly, how would you explain your response to the tour guide's claim? A, that it's impossible to think like an Inca, to be an Inca. B, that it's difficult, but still possible. So consider that, please. Here then, again, is my book, John and the Universan, Nothing is Known. It's available on Amazon, where there's more information. My publisher's website is rocksmillspress.com. There's more information on that site. On my website, johnpassfield.ca, there are 2 free books. You click on the cover icon, and you get to read them. One is a planning notebook, which I wrote while I was planning this fiction, this short novel. And the other is a journal, which I wrote while I was polishing this book, John and the Universan. So have a look at those. They're for free reading. They're available for free reading at johnpassfield.ca. Lastly, I'll say thank you for watching this video.